have started arriving now for the funeral of former Lesotho Army Commander Maaparankoe Mahao. He was shot by other soldiers in what the government said was an operation to arrest him that went wrong. But his family suspects that he was assassinated. Mahao will be laid to rest in his home village of Mukema outside the capital, Maseru. His remains arrived in the village yesterday after a church service at the Catholic Cathedral in the capital. And for the very latest now on that, we are joined once again on the line by our reporter in Maseru, Nthakoana Ngatane. Nthakoana, nice to chat to you again. Has the former Lesotho Army Commander now been laid to rest?
Not quite, Obriel. The service is still going on, but there are quite a lot of speakers. What I can tell you is that his widow, his wife, has broken the Basotho tradition mold. Usually, a widow is supposed to sit down and mourn her husband, but she stood up and made a heartfelt speech about her husband, paying tribute to him, saying he was her mentor, he was her president, because they went to university together and he was in the youth organization or she was in the youth organization that he founded, saying also he was her father and he was her love of her life, or he was the love of her life. And this left many people at the ceremony speechless, who include the Queen Maseru. They include the king's uncle, Chief Matadi Raseiso, who's representing the king. He is there in his capacity as the representative of the king. They include the king's brother, who's also the president of the Court of Appeal, Chief Seiso, or His Royal Highness Prince Seiso, and his wife, Princess Mabering, and other principal chiefs. They include the Chief Justice as well as the President of the Court of Appeal. Obriel?
Now, when we spoke to you earlier, you were saying there were quite some high dignitaries there, including the king. Who else has spoken at this funeral, and what have they been saying?
Well, as you know, the family had specifically said that they're not expecting anyone from the government. They had also said they're not expecting anyone from the military. So his wife, when she stood up, she actually said, I am taking a lot of time because I'm taking the time that was supposed to be taken by the military, and people chuckled a bit to that. But we're also expecting at this event that the Chief Justice will speak on behalf of the Law Society here in Lesotho. We're also expecting someone to speak on behalf of His Majesty the King, and that we expect to be his uncle, who will speak on behalf of the royal family. Our family also paid their respects to the family. They went and paid their condolences to the family. So as the family was complaining that the government had not itself personally gone to inform them of their son, their brother's demise, that was different with the royal family. And so the royal family remains a unifying factor here in Lesotho, as we can see from Maaparankoe Mahao's funeral here today.
And you were also saying earlier, Nthakoana, that there was the private radio station that was covering this funeral and was abruptly taken off air. Is it still off air, or is it back broadcasting now, the funeral?
When we last checked with them, about an hour ago, they were still off air, but they do broadcast online, so they were continuing to broadcast online. But as I explained earlier, the situation here in Lesotho is that the Lesotho National Broadcasting Corporation provides transmission services to many of the radio stations here in the country. So all of them go through one channel. So like we had in the events of August 30th, where even though afterwards the government and the military then said they did not know anything about the blackout of transmission of any radio station, even now the Minister of Communication says to us, well, he's not aware of anything. But when we last spoke to the radio station, they have said to us they're sending their own technicians to the transmission tunnel to ensure or to find out exactly what the problem is, because other radio stations that are not broadcasting the funeral are still running on air, and so they didn't understand why it is that their transmission in particular was off. Obia?
And very quickly, what is the mood in the country now as Mahao is about to be laid to rest?
I can tell you, Obriel, thousands and thousands of people have gone to Mukema. The road leading to Lekema and the small village is filled with hundreds of cars with people that have come to this funeral. I understand that back in the capital, Maseru, from people that I've spoken to, it's very quiet because a lot of the people have probably gone to this funeral here in Lekema. But people, almost all of them, saying Lesotho shouldn't be going through what it's going through. We spoke earlier to James Mutlati, known very much from the National Union of Mine Workers. You know, a lot of Lesotho worked in the mines in South Africa. And he was saying to us, there have been so many killings in Lesotho, starting with a deputy prime minister in 1993 to a sitting prime minister's son, and now Maaparankoe Mahao's killing. And he's saying that Lesotho must introspect and find solutions within themselves. And another person that we spoke to, a stalwart of the National University of Lesotho, who founded one of the organizations Mahoa worked with, saying that SADC perhaps needs to put the army aside while these investigations are going on to ensure that there is confidence in the outcome of both the commission and the investigations by the forensic investigators. Gabriel?
All right, thank you so much. That was our reporter there, Nthakoana Ngatane, speaking to us live from outside Maseru in Lesotho. Now, South Africans are commemorating the 52nd anniversary of one of the significant milestones in the country's struggle for democracy. On this day in 1963, apartheid